This is the Austin Beerworks Heavy Machinery Half IPA. It's a seasonal brew crafted by guys ballsy enough to name a pale ale a half IPA. What the heck's a half IPA? I don't know. And according to the label, Austin Beerworks doesn't either. They just made that shit up. Which is a fine move if you ask me, because this, my friend, is a manly beer. One sip, and you'll be hit with a fantastic balance of hops and an almost musky finish. This is a summer beer that screams, let's grab some tools and do manly stuff. And with an ABV of 5.6%, the Half IPA lets you know you're drinking a real beer, but it won't wipe you out too fast in the summer heat. I'm Mike Langford, and this is Locapore, a show about locally brewed craft beer. Today I'm exploring the Half IPA from the tap at Craft Pride in Austin, Texas with David Voss. David is the operations manager at Craft Pride and keeps this place running like a well-oiled machine. See what I did there? If you're an intrepid beer explorer, you'll find no better guide for your journey than David and the team at Craft Pride. These guys are crazy passionate about craft beer, particularly Texas craft beer. By the way, I mentioned the tap because 1, Craft Pride's tap wall is a work of art, and 2, Austin Beerworks cans their beer as well. David and I will get to that in a bit. David Voss, thank you very much for joining me for a beer, sir. Great to have you.
Cheers.
So, what do we have here for this beer?
This is actually Austin Beerworks Heavy Machinery series. It's the 3rd release.
Okay.
It's their Half IPA. Half IPA is not really actually a style. It's more just how they're referring to it, because this basically would be a pale ale as far as the alcohol content is concerned.
Okay.
But if they want to call it an IPA, I'm happy to call it an IPA.
Well, they call it a half IPA. Maybe that's the reason why.
Could be. I'm a huge fan of that brewery.
I love it because I love the fact that the can is back, and it's canned beer for the longest time was it had kind of a bad reputation. It was cheap beer. Then now you can really get high quality canned beer, have it in the coolers.
Oh, absolutely.
And everybody can be drinking good beer at the beach or at the cookout or whatever. So
that's
awesome.
actually one of the things that we're pushing in our retail shop is the whole can aspect.
Yeah.
It's not like being in a can is doing anything bad. It's got a bad stigma, just like the rubber corks in the wine world.
Yeah,
even though rubber cork has all of these benefits over a normal cork, it's the same thing with cans, man.
Right.
Light can't get in. They have a lining inside of them that means that the beer is not touching metal, so it's not like it's going to impart any metallic taste or anything like that. You can go to the beach, you can go out, the Greenbelt's 15 minutes from here, and you can go out to the Greenbelt, grab a 6-pack, and you're totally fine. And that way you don't even have to worry about breaking a bottle or anything like that.
Right.
It's just
environmentally
awesome.
It's a little bit better, right? You can have glass all over the place for people to cut their feet on, but also, it's lighter weight. So in terms of shipping the stuff around, you have to move it.
That is a big benefit.
It saves a lot on the weight, and also I would assume shrinkage, right? Not rattling around broken bottles and so forth.
Yeah.
So inventory shrinkage is less. Tell me about your experience with this beer. You mentioned it's part of their Machine Works.
Yeah, the Heavy Machinery.
Heavy Machinery series. And it's funny you say that because I got this almost like you get the pine or the hops, but then I'm almost getting like a musky taste. And it tastes like a manly beer. I'm feeling like factory in this beer. I'm not joking about that.
That's a good way to put that. I get some tropical fruit out of it too. Maybe there might be some Comet or maybe some citrus, something a little bit.
I gotta try to pick up all the flavors you're saying.
That is part of my job, is to geek out over beers. So
It's interesting that you say that. I'm just amazed by your knowledge of just the beer world, just in the industry, it's in the craft beer industry itself. But each beer, you've really got a sense and a feel for each beer, and you're able to articulate it in a way so that the customer really feels like, all right, I'm comfortable ordering that.
Well, the whole concept is to get you drinking a beer that you want to drink, that you're gonna enjoy. And personally, I can tell you what I like about each one of those beers up there, but not everybody's gonna like all of them. So, you can't expect one size to fit all.
Right.
It's never gonna happen.
You have a lot of professional expertise, a lot of passion. How did you get hooked up with Craft Pride here and bring your expertise to bear?
I'm actually originally from Houston, and in Houston I worked for the Flying Saucer and the Ginger Man. Those were bars that I was a regular at. And then after a while, it was just sort of like, well, why don't I try to work at one of these places? Yeah. And it just sort of snowballed from there, and I ended up managing at the Ginger Man in Houston for a while. And when I decided I was moving from Houston to Austin, it was kind of like, well, I want to switch my focus in this industry. I've never been on 6 years. I've never been that kind of a bartender. And the more that I did that, the more I remembered, oh yeah, there was a reason why I got into this. This is the thing that I actually want to talk about and I actually want to sell. It's so much more fun when you get to discuss something that you actually care about, as opposed to, hey, what's gonna get me drunkest quickest? That's not really what I care about. I'm sorry. I might not even get drunk. It's gonna be a nice bonus if I do, but I just want to enjoy. And these guys have really care about beer. I mean, there's 54 taps only from Texas. We don't sell liquor. We have wine. We have cider. We have, the things that I actually know and care about are what we sell, and it's really nice because JT and Brandy, the owners here, have kind of built this into a place where not only is that the focus, but that's the only thing. And it's fantastic that we get to cater to the people that I want to talk to.
That's fantastic, and that passion definitely comes through. I mean, as somebody who's a customer, right? And I came in here, I felt that immediately. It makes this place resonate so much more if you're a craft beer fan as I am, and if you're particularly a local craft beer fan as I am, and wherever I am, particularly in my own city, I want to drink what's brewed here.
And that's the way it should be, man. I went to New York a couple of years ago and got into a conversation with the bartender, and it turned out I was from Texas, obviously. And he's like, oh, well, we have Shiner. Oh, okay, cool. I can get that at any gas station where I'm from. I'm not even knocking that beer, but that's what you're going to offer me? You guys have some world-class beers up here, and it's just sort of, I want to drink what you make there because, I can get a Brooklyn beer here in Austin, but it's not nearly the same thing as getting it in Brooklyn, blocks from where it's made, you know? It's awesome.
You're drawing a certain type of clientele here. You were telling me about this gentleman who comes in and orders a sampler. And he wants to try.
Yeah. He's so great because he comes in here and he just goes, give me a flight with stuff I haven't had. It's not like he's saying that and he expects you to give him, this, and this. He's saying, I want to try anything. And it's great because with a guy like that, you get to give him these 5 different beers, and then we get to talk, for 10 or 15 minutes about these things that we both are excited about. We've got a ton of regulars that are just like that, people that, and we've only been open for 5 months at this point.
Right.
And we've got people that come in and we know who they are, they know who we are, we already have an idea. It's like, oh, hey, good to see you. We just got this on the wall. You've got to try it.
What's the environment or the situation, time of day, you name it, in which you're like, I need to try the Austin Beerworks Half IPA. This is just, I need to have one of those now.
Any time of the day, man.
Any time of the day.
It doesn't matter if I'm in a good mood, a bad mood, if I'm tired, if I'm hot, it doesn't matter. I can reach for that and I'm gonna be happy. With that said, it is July in Texas. You walk outside, it's really hot, and a beer like this, it's all those bright flavors. It's just a really refreshing beer for this time of year. If I was outside, man, perfect.
You know what's funny? I'm going to agree with you. And with this particular beer, I'm thinking even if it's really hot out, I'm getting a ton of flavor, and it's very complex. It's deep. Like I'm getting a hit with the first flavor on the front of the palate, and then the back of the palate, I'm getting something completely different. That's why I talked about that musk. That musk is a finish for me. Like I'm getting hops on the front and musk on the back,
which is fantastic.
But it's still it's refreshing. It's very like liquidy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not.
I do, yeah.
It's very, it's refreshing. I could drink this beer in the heat, so I agree with you on that.
These guys, they filter the beers at least 3 times, if not more than that. And so I mean, they're like their Pilsner, their Pearl Snap, for example.
I love Pearl Snap.
So good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, it's so clean. The finish with that beer is just is beautiful.
Yeah.
All of their beers are like that. If I'm getting a beer from these guys, I know that I can have a couple of them, and I'm not just gonna have that feeling.
Yeah. What do you think you would pair this with? What would be like if you were to eat something and you say, I'm going to order this beer because I want to eat it with this type of food? What are you thinking? What's coming to your mind?
Pizza.
All right. Nice.
If you could only give me 3 things I could eat for the rest of my life, pizza would definitely be one of them.
I'm thinking with this beer, hot dog. If you're going to a ballpark or something like that, and you need to have a beer that's going to whoop ass with a hot dog, this beer is bringing
it. Chicago dog in one hand.
This
and
beer
a 3-gallon
is bringing it with a hot dog.
This and the other.
Yeah.
I also, I've been really big into seafood lately, and this is kind of one of those things that's just made its way into my fridge lately. and it's gone really well. I do like a lot of like lemon, rosemary, salmon kind of thing, and it's just really nice because it doesn't overpower anything, but it doesn't give to anything else either. It's just really nice all the way around.
That's fantastic. Hey, listen, this has been great. Thank you so much, David, for being on the show.
Thanks for coming by, man.
This is great. Let's clink it up, finish them off.
Cheers, sir.
Thank you, sir.